Ever since the Jimmy Butler trade in 2017, there's always been some level of optimism with this young Chicago Bulls team going into every season. And year after year, this team is always disappointed to a certain degree despite the talent they had. Whether it was bad coaching, inconsistent play, or lack of focus in the fourth quarter, this team has never lived up to the hype. This past season, they did win the most games since they made the playoffs in 2017, when Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, and Rajon Rondo was on the team. Last year, the Bulls finally made the necessary changes to their front office by hiring Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley. Billy Donovan was hired as the new head coach, and the progress the team made last season reflected the new leadership that was brought in last summer. They had some tough losses, and the team dealt with adversity every now and then, but they didn't roll over in the second half of the season like in the past. The ascension of star guard Zach LaVine kept the Chicago Bulls in a lot of games, and countless times he was able to take over games and put the team on his back. The first time All-Star took his game to a whole nother level offensively. He set new career highs in points, rebounds, assists, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage. He became the first Bull in franchise history to make at least 200 three-pointers in 1 year. He had 6 20-point quarters, second only to the great Steph Curry. And he also had 25 30-point games, which ranked 6th in the league. LaVine was the only player in the league to play at least 50 games and averaged 25 points on shooting splits of 50, 40, 80. And he also earned another franchise record by posting 4 games with at least 7 three-pointers, pushing his career total to 9. Those are elite numbers for the former 13th overall pick in 2014. Even though defense is not his strong suit, he actually worked hard on that end and has gotten better. His play alone kept the Bulls' head above water throughout the season. The new leadership decided to be buyers at the trade deadline instead of sellers. Having that aggressive mentality is something the Bulls haven't seen in a long time. The Bulls made a huge trade at the trade deadline last season and acquired Nikola Vucevic, one of the best offensive big men in the league. Vucevic quickly came in and displayed the versatile skill set that made him a 2-time All-Star. But the team didn't necessarily gel as well as you would have thought early on. They went 3-8 directly after the trade. One of the biggest reasons why the Chicago Bulls fell short of the playoffs was when their all-star guard Zach LaVine missed 11 games after testing positive for coronavirus. His absence could not have come at a worse time for the Bulls, as they were making the final push to the playoffs. The team played well when he came back, but unfortunately it was too little too late. The Bulls as a whole was average on defense and ranked 21st in the league in points per game on offense. While their shooting percentages were good, they did not take good care of the basketball. They ranked 27th in the league in turnovers per game with 15. Taking more care of the ball could have made a big difference in their run to the playoffs. There were rumors all season of the Bulls looking to upgrade their point guard position. Kobe White is a talented scorer, but facilitating is not something he does naturally. When you have offensive players like Vucevic and LaVine, it would be ideal to have a point guard with a pass-first mentality than a shoot-first mentality. But I'm sure a lot of Bulls fans didn't want to get their hopes up about the possibility in free agency, because this organization hasn't made a big splash in free agency in a long time. The biggest one I can remember was Carlos Boozer in the summer of 2010. And that was after missing out on the top free agents. But I did mention earlier, the Bulls have new leadership in the front office. Karnisovas is a proven winner as a front office executive. This summer proved that the Bulls are really trying to make moves and become a legit threat in the Eastern Conference. When was the last time you heard people saying that the Bulls probably had the best offseason of any team? Lonzo Ball was the Bulls' #1 target, and he has been the #1 target since the trade deadline. Karnisovas put together a sign and trade package for the Bulls to acquire the 23-year-old Lonzo Ball. The fourth-year point guard averaged just under 15 points and 6 rebounds. Lonzo worked really hard to fix his jump shot, and he actually shot 38% from the three-point line with the New Orleans Pelicans last season. And he raised his free throw percentage to 78%, and that's after shooting below 50% in his first 2 seasons. The Bulls don't have a lot of good individual defenders on the team, and Lonzo is on that short list. If this was the only move the Bulls made this offseason, I would have still given this team an A. But they weren't done yet, not even a little bit. With the addition of DeMar DeRozan, the Bulls now have 3 elite scoring options in the starting lineup. DeRozan is one of the best mid-range jump shooters in the league, and there's still a need for that in today's NBA. Players like KD, Chris Paul, and Kawhi Leonard has proven that shot still has a place in the NBA. Lonzo, LaVine, and Vucevic can stretch the floor out with their excellent three-point shooting, and that will give DeRozan a lot of room to operate in his favorite area, and will also have room to attack the basket. The Bulls were also able to bring in a proven winner, Alex Caruso. He proved how important he can be during the Lakers' 2020 NBA championship run. He's the ultimate glue guy, a two-way player that the Bulls have very few of. He's probably a better defensive player than an offensive player. He can hit a clutch shot, lock down a player on defense, and make the important extra pass. The Bulls' team chemistry on the floor last season was really good, and they did finish in the top 10 in assists. Now with Ball, LaVine, Vucevic, and DeRozan, they have 4 players with high-level passing abilities. DeRozan has been known for his scoring more than anything in his career, but he did have a career high in assists per game with just under 7. I believe the best players on this team will need to sacrifice a little offense individually to help develop the chemistry needed to become one of the most efficient scoring offenses in the league. The talent is there, they just need to put it all together. With the addition of DeRozan and him starting at the small forward position, that will slide last year's 4th overall pick Patrick Williams to the power forward spot. NBA scouts projected that Williams will be a great defender in his career, and you can see why in his rookie year already. The Bulls seriously needed a true defensive player to take on the opposing team's best offensive players, and that's just what he did. Williams guarded the best of the best, and he held his own. On offense, he did struggle early in the season, but game by game, he started to get more comfortable. He ended up shooting 48% from the field and 39% from downtown. That's really impressive for a rookie that's more known for his defense. We knew eventually that Lauri Markkanen was on his way out of Chicago after all the moves the Bulls made early in free agency, but nobody knew it would take as long as it did. With the salary cap space dried up around the league, Markkanen needed the Bulls' cooperation in a sign and trade, and that gave the Bulls a little leverage. Considering that the Bulls sent out a total of 3 first-round draft picks in the deals for Nikola Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan, getting a first-round pick back in return was very important for the franchise. Not only did the Bulls get a first-round pick, which is lottery protected, but they also got a good defender with amazing athleticism in Derrick Jones Jr. This was a 3-team trade that involved the Bulls, the Cavaliers, and the Blazers. Any defensive players that the Bulls can add to the rotation is a plus. Jones Jr. really didn't get that much playing time in Portland down the stretch of the last season, and he should be fresh and ready to go. Coby White suffered a major setback in the offseason. He injured his left shoulder while playing basketball away from the team. The injury was a torn labrum that could keep him out up to 6 months, but he will be reevaluated in 4 months. 4 months will be right before the regular season starts, which is on October 19th. So 6 months would cost Coby the first 2 months of the season if he's out that long. Caruso is certainly capable of playing big minutes at a high level. That's why his addition is just as important as DeRozan. There could be even minutes for rookie Ayo Dosunmu to play early in the season if the Bulls want to play it safe with Coby. With very few good individual defenders on the team, the Bulls more than likely won't be a great defensive team. But with the potential of the offense that has multiple scorers and multiple playmakers, just being average on defense could be good enough for this team to compete for home court advantage in the first round. This franchise has only had a top 15 offense 4 times in the last 20 years. Defense has always been more of a priority for this franchise than offense, but it has flipped over the last couple of years. Karnisovas came from organizations that had a greater focus on scoring the basketball. This team has a chance to be at the top of the league from an offensive standpoint. This offseason, the Chicago Bulls let it be known that they are ready to compete. I have the Bulls finishing with the 6th seed with a 45-37 record. With the offensive firepower that the Bulls have on the team now, and with a head coach like Billy Donovan, this team should make the playoffs for the first time since 2017. Caruso, Lonzo, and Williams will be leaned on a lot to help this team be at least average on defense. If they are, the Bulls will definitely be a force to be reckoned with on a nightly basis.